Good morning, everyone. This is the Super 1000 episode that we have done at Novak on social media across our platforms with the whole team here. And they're going to introduce you over to Jonathan Creek first, who's going to run today's Super 1000. He's going to be the perpetrator. We're going to be the victims. And Jonathan is formerly a journalist and a social media expert. How are you, Jonathan?
Well, as a social media expert, I didn't do that great. I'm getting on this morning. I got Google Chrome issues. I've delayed the 1000th episode. I'm never going to get a job at the Logies at this rate. Never.
Oh, what is the irony of it?
That's social media.
I think that's the point. I think that's the point, though, isn't it? That after 1,000 episodes, you can still have tech issues and you still get that panic, and that's all part of the fun, right?
Yeah.
Every morning.
It
Part
is.
of the fun. And you know
It
what?
is.
But the funny thing is, it's pretty much every morning. So talk about being resilient. You know, it happens every morning. It's like 7:45. You could literally time your clocks by it. But if it's ever 7:52, you know we're having tech issues.
I was set up here 7:15. I had the studio, I had the lighting done. I was like, here we go. Got the text message. No camera.
It wasn't just you, though. We had really bad reverb for a few of us logging in as well. So you weren't the only one.
All right. So guys, I'm so honoured to be here. Lisa, Mark, I think you're absolutely incredible with what you've done. 1,000 episodes of anything is absolutely staggering in anyone's books. I mean, that's Neighbours level of success and production. But I think, you know, to be honest, I've watched you guys for a long time. Mark, Lisa, we've known each other for a long time, but I think the one person that I sort of feel like I'm cuddling them a little bit is Billy, because I've almost watched Billy grow up on this show.
Now, Billy.
Baby Billy.
I think he was 13. I think he was 13 when he started. Now, Billy, I'm going to start with you. Billy, tell us about how you've grown from the first episode to now. Personally, how do you feel?
I remember when I got my first plug on a Morning Minutes, and I was so excited. It all started with getting interviewed by Mark and Michael Bergio, former host, who just sprayed questions at me, and I was really nervous, really excited. And then I said, "Mom, Dad, I'm all over the socials." And then that was well before I was even kind of working with the guys.
And I think what was really interesting, Billy, is when you started, you were a little bit tentative to be on social media because you were new, you were young, and you're like, well, what have I got to add to real estate? But you found your slot via shows like this, and yeah, you've hit your stride. So well done.
Love it.
Yeah. What's your scariest moment been, Billy, other than right now?
Scariest?
Yeah.
Waking up 3 minutes before we're supposed to be on air, like sleep dust in the eyes, and going, holy shit, it's 7:44 something.
We've all done that.
Yeah, that's got to be the.
I think Michael Silich can relate.
I was just sitting there quietly.
Going, that's me.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Well, we've all
Michael's
done that,
the worst
Michael.
perpetrator.
Who's the worst perpetrator, Mark?
Michael.
Michael Silich.
Michael Silich.
The guy that looks like he's from the Backstreet Boys, Jonathan.
All right. So, Lisa, this has been a massive journey for you. Like you've been the spearhead of this whole sort of thing. Mark's been the engine room, and you've had an amazing team around you. What sort of difference do you reckon this has made?
Ridiculously enormous. I mean, I remember 5 years ago when we were talking about, you know, social media, and it was such an underutilized tool in our industry, and we decided that we were just going to really leverage off that. Not in a million years did we ever imagine that it was going to be all this. And I just want to reiterate there, Jonathan, it's got nothing to do with, oh, you know, we wanted to be social media influencers. I just want to make that really clear. This was a platform and an area that we identified that an industry had just left completely blank. You know, there was just endless amounts of information that we could offer to people, and, you know, pre-market properties, and just giving people all these golden nuggets about real estate. And there really was no one doing it. There was no real estate agents that were just being real, raw people that were giving real, raw information to the people. But we never in a million years imagined that it would be all of this. And I remember Mark and I went to a friend's party, and we'd been doing it for about, I think, 6 months. And the party was on the Central Coast. And this couple went up to our friends that were hosting the party and said, "That's the Novaks. Can you introduce us?" And anyway, they came over, and my girlfriend's like, "Oh, these people love you. They follow you on social media. They'd love to meet you. They're in real estate." And I was like, "They do? Really? Why?" It was just, you know, we didn't realise that people were actually watching. But it's been phenomenal.
I think you're bearing the lead of that story too, that Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were in the same room. They didn't care about them, they spoke to the YouTube. Is that right? Now Xanthi and Kim up the top.
That's right.
Xanthi and Kim up the top, they've tapped into probably what I encourage a lot of people to do who are a little bit scared on social media. Be on with someone else. Like, be in the same room with someone else. It removes the pressure. Is that what you two are doing up there?
Well, I'm the imposter.
Yeah, that's Anthony. That's Anthony for sure.
I don't like social media. No, I actually feel really confident in front of a camera doing public speaking. It's stuff that I've got a little bit of experience. But I'm just warming Kim up to the little morning minutes.
I've watched nearly every episode, but I haven't been on the camera.
Oh, is this your first one, Kim?
Yeah. Apart from being dragged in some mornings when I've walked past.
Kim's our commercial queen, for those of you who don't know her and are tuning in. If you've got any commercial inquiries, any leasing inquiries to do with anything commercial, Kim is your queen.
Oh, Mark, when did you introduce ad breaks to morning
She
minutes?
says that she's... Whatever. Yeah, that's right. That was an ad break. But the Kim's interesting because she's never wanted to go on social, but whenever she does go on social, she appears completely normal and great and composed. So I still can't work out why she doesn't love doing, why she can't do the lives comfortably, but she does them well.
Yeah, but that's most people. It's really just, it's more in your mind than it is in reality.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know, because we're just sitting here like friends having a conversation, and if you just let the camera disappear, you'll just, you know, you just
have that bright light in your face. But
I suppose the best person to relate, the one that's so new to Morning Minutes, is Sienna, given that she's only been doing this for a few months, and she was doing Morning Minutes first.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking. Now, guys, this is a quick. You go, Sienna. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I started doing breakfast at Jack's. I started hosting it. It was a bit of Mark's job before I jumped in and did it. I kind of grabbed him, and then it was that. And then I interviewed about all of you guys on a Saturday morning on what the agenda is. And then I kind of got into it. And then I kind of filled in for everyone at Morning Minutes and Novak News. I did a segment on Monday with Illy. It was actually a really good segment. We had tenants come in, and we talked about how difficult it is for a lot of property to travel across the world and get a rental property. So I think doing lives can actually give a lot of people more information than actually calling the agent and having a conversation, as you do when you do research. So I love doing it. It gets out of my comfort zone, but it's good.
And can I just point out, guys, as well, Sienna, how long have you been in real estate?
Nearly 1 year now.
Nearly 1 year. Now, here's a girl who, and you're 19?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sienna's 19 years of age and has been in real estate for 1 year, and every single Saturday gets online and interviews 45 staff about what they eat for breakfast, and always chooses a topic. Honestly, and you're just an absolute natural. You really are. You're an absolute natural. But the information that you can provide to the community is phenomenal.
Thanks, Lise.
I think what's also interesting watching you guys from the outside is that you look at agents like Sienna and Billy, agents of the future, Illy, like the most handsome Jonathan on the call, the other Jonathan. You look at all you guys, and the way that you are coming into real estate and operating as agents is so different to 99% of everyone else that's doing it. If Mark was to think back, how did he first get leads? How did he first get known in the patch? It was a really hard slog. You guys now have got all the pixels in your pocket to reach anyone you want. You've just got to be able to turn on the camera and talk. So I think that's the biggest credit to this, is that you got Lisa and Mark who love it and push it and drive it, but you guys are so blessed and lucky to be born into that environment to take forward. So I think it's awesome. I think you're miles in front, and well done for doing it.
Thank you so much. And it's you're asking the question before, Jonathan, did you think it was ever going to be all this? I mean, it's honestly taken me and us to places that we never thought we'd end up. I'm jumping on a plane to go and train agents in New Zealand on the weekend. I had Marty Fox, for those of you guys that don't know, he's a phenomenal real estate agent, White Fox down in Melbourne. They've actually just branched out to New Zealand as well. He called and said, my auntie loves you. Can she come and spend a day with you? Like, we've met people, and as I said, it's taken us to places that we never thought that we would end up. But, as I said, it's been great information for the community. It really has. I think it has been anyway.
Yeah.
Now, let's cross to the other Jonathan, because he's chomping at the bit to get a word in here. Mate, tell us about your experience.
That's the day of Jonathan.
Yeah, that is. I'm just a silent assassin. I'm very I lurk in the backgrounds. I don't really show my.
It's so true.
It's very true. Yeah, I don't really show my face to other than when Lisa really pulls me into a video at an open home or something like that. But yeah, I've only really done news about 3 times, so I'm not really very well known on the live streams. But yeah, I've never really liked getting in front of a camera, but I'm obviously getting a little bit better at it with everybody here kind of encouraging you to do so. I think, yeah, Lisa said, it's kind of just like having a conversation with friends. Once you just take the camera out of it, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah, I think that's really good too, because what you guys are doing, you're actually building these young adults into better communicators. And the world is all about communication. So the fact that you're in such a safe environment, Jonathan, is something you should grab with 2 hands and just push yourself out of that comfort zone. Get yourself on camera with other people first, a bit like we've got Kim and a couple of the others doing in pairs. Try that first and get yourself on there. And all fear is born from the fear of the unknown. So the more you can do it, the more comfortable you're going to get. Billy didn't want to come on the first time that the camera was turned off. He
I
really
have to bring
didn't.
a comfort animal with me this time.
Now he's got circus tricks in the background.
I just get so nervous.
I think Billy's actually looked at the internet and knows that if you talk about dogs or cats, you get way more views. So he's got his dog in the background to make sure he gets more views.
I remember when Michael Sillage, so for those of you guys that are watching that don't know, Michael and I worked together for 5.5 years. And I always kept saying to Michael, you just got to do your social media. You've got to get on it. It's like, no, I know. Anyway, one time with our morning minutes that we do every Monday to Friday, someone couldn't do it. I can't remember. And Michael filled in for that person for a few weeks. And he was like, oh, I really love this. And then became a regular every Wednesday, I think, aren't you, Michael? You do it every Wednesday with Mark.
Every Wednesday. The thing I like most about
Billy,
it is
Billy went away, and then they had a fight over the slot when Billy came back.
literally they had to twist my arm to get me into it, and then they had to twist my arm to get me out of it.
Yeah.
That sounds like that newsreaders do that all the time. They fight over the 4:30 slot because you get done early and go home for dinner. So maybe that's what you guys are doing. So Illy, you're the last one. We haven't heard from you yet. Tell us about your experience with this crazy bunch on this crazy adventure that is 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, so I've got the best seat in the house. I sit next to Mark. So I sit next to Mark, who every day, and Lisa as well. Every day they tell me, Ili, just do it, just get on there, show your face. But I'm the same. I'm nervous about it. You know, I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think's been the biggest learning for you around all this?
I think the same, just as everyone else, overcoming that fear, you know, of getting on, being shy. And I'm the same. I actually like to have people around me. Normally when we do the Monday night news, I'll invite people over and I say, come and join us, and we'll do it as a group rather than alone. So
it is a great tip, because the easiest thing to do with all of this is to not do it.
Yeah.
And that, right? And the fact that these guys have been driving, and you know, how many episodes or how many days you reckon you've missed, Mark, out of 1,000?
Oh, that's a great question, because that hurts, that one. Probably 3.
Yeah, wow.
I reckon there's probably 3. It's normally when I'm out of my environment and it's like, I just completely forgot. So if we were away, you know, on a long weekend somewhere, or it's like a 4-day weekend where it's your days are everywhere, yeah, about 3 of them.
Yeah, that's amazing, because it's nearly 4 years of work, and you reckon you've missed 3. There was even one you did from a 4-wheel drive somewhere out in the wild, wasn't it?
Yep, done a few at the farm, stuff like that. So yeah, does that work?
Are you right, Mark?
You.
Shockingly
That's
so,
you.
yeah.
Go like that with your finger.
Do a little ET
Look.
thing through the screen.
There you go.
There we go.
Bumpies.
I thought he was being stopped at the lights to have his windscreen washed. I wasn't sure what was going on.
Jonathan, one of the things that people ask us a lot is like, how do you think about what to say at that, you know, for 1,000 episodes? It's not about that, and certainly there's a lot of conversation that goes into it. About 10 minutes before the show, Mark's phone rings like clockwork at 7:30 in the morning, depending on who's doing the show in the morning, and they will literally talk for 5 or 10 minutes about what the topic's going to be. So there definitely is, you know, conversations around it. You know, if there's slides, I know Billy's really great with that. Michael's really great with it. Zans, you're great with it as well. You know, getting the slides or the data up. But it's, you know, there's not as many conversations as what people would think. We have so much information. Like I look at Ileana, who's the head of our new business for property management, and I just think you've got that whole domain all to yourself. How many questions people ask daily?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially at the moment when so many things are changing in property management, so many things are changing in regards to property owners and tenants, and you know, there's this shortage. And I think Lisa, the thing that struck me when I first met you is you said this. You said, "I like to be the news reporter of real estate."
I'm a frustrated news reporter.
And I think that's the key, is that there's always issues. There's always things to talk about. The world's always going to present you with topics to discuss. Now, whoever's watching today may be questioning what sort of production value went into this one today. It was a bit crazy at the start with me being late. But I think you're right. Ileana, you can sit there and just talk property management and the changes and advice and tips on how to get selected. And there's so many different things. I think people limit themselves with... They think it's boring because they do it every day, but to the viewer, it's something they haven't heard.
It's true.
Well, but have you ever tried to Google that information? Try put into Google, how do I fill out a tenancy application? You know, it's just like information overload, and then it's never just getting to the point.
Well, the best thing about it is a lot of agents, like obviously we use social media like you do, Lisa, in terms of when we're selling properties and giving people that opportunity to buy properties online without going through the major portals. But the whole purpose of this Morning Minutes is we're not selling anything. Most agents, only their social content is either trying to sell a property or sell themselves. This content here is purely just about, we're not trying to sell a property every morning or big note ourselves. We're literally just giving free information out to everyone as well, expecting nothing in return with it. And I think that's the best thing about it. It's actually value for the consumer.
Well said, Sillage.
Oh, you just got the mic
Wow.
drop, Billy.
Wow.
Mic drop.
Wow.
Signing out.
I love that. Look at him now. Seriously,
The bloke in the
social
hoodie.
media extraordinaire.
Wow.
So what have
Billy
you,
brought
what
his
have you got to say
Billy brought
about
his dog.
Jonathan?
Michael brought his brain.
Oh,
Oh, I thought that
That's
was
bring
hair. I thought,
Super brain. They call him Super Brain.
so Jonathan, I want to ask you, like, what do you see from the outside looking in? Because there are times, I think, when all of us could say, oh my God, like you do a, segment and just think, oh, that was just awful.
Yeah.
What do you see from the outside looking in?
Look, I think
sorry,
over
wrong
1,000.
Jonathan.
This Jonathan Craig.
Oh, me. So I think from the outside, I think with 1,000 episodes, you're never going to get all of them perfect. But the fact is, if you go in and expect them all to be perfect, you're going to stop pretty soon because you're going to be scared that at some stage it's not going to happen. I think you guys have been really good at not just producing content, and you are the market leaders in this. I go and train agents how to introduce video marketing into their business or to build their brands and their patches. And you guys are the benchmark, and we always talk about what goes on at Novak, and it's more than just morning minutes. It's more than just Monday news. It's the videos that go in between and the information that you share. And you've got such a great balance of here's these properties coming to market, and you've got an opportunity to get them early if you follow us. That's the reward. Plus industry information that can help people make more informed decisions. And we're entering an era right now in real estate where the clients in the market, buyers and sellers, they're confused. They're worried about what to do. They don't know what to do. So they turn to people like you guys who are out here openly sharing the information. You're not judging it. You're just saying, this is what we're seeing or this is what's happening, and allowing people to make up their own decisions. Well, that builds trust. Even if they're not looking to buy in the Northern Beaches, they're still going to turn to you guys for the information to trust. And so you're actually building your brands and your relationships with markets that you don't even know yet. Like if you were to come to Melbourne,
Well, Jonathan, you're in Melbourne.
Yeah.
You're in
I'm
Melbourne having these conversations. That we would have never had that sort of reach or exposure or be able to learn or help from people in another state.
But see, that's the beautiful thing, because most agents are so focused on just their patch that they don't see the benefit of actually helping everyone. So you end up helping people in your patch, because social media works that way. It will send it locally. But you'll also reach further. So if you want to expand your business, Mark, you're going to already have those markets there to push it out.
On a more serious note, I just wanted to ask about who gets the best hairstyle for today, Super 1000. Here as well. It's sort of between Sienna, Ileana.
Yeah.
Lisa's got some beautiful blonde. Michael's got a paintbrush.
Michael's paintbrush. Just putting it out there.
This is gym hair.
Guys, can I ask, what's it like coming on air with Mark? Because I know when he invites me on, I think I've maybe done 2 or 3, but I always get a little bit nervous he's going to poke fun at me. Like, how do you control him? What do you have? Have you got anything up your sleeve just to fire back at him just in case he gets too smart?
Yeah, throw it all back to him.
Yeah. You can't see
think about
everyone's
Mark.
fingers crossed underneath the screens.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
It's like driving a stolen car at 280 kilometres an hour, and you just don't know whether you're going to crash or make it round the bend.
Well, talk about crashing. When I opened up my Google this morning, it had information about a real estate agent who had made a comment that he controls the market if people sell with him, and people were absolutely tearing shreds off his statement on social media. He then went further, apparently, according to the story, and said to one of the people complaining, I bet you're just a tenant. And I just thought to myself, like, thank God, out of all the stuff we've done on social, and this probably understands the biggest fear that people have with going on social, is in isolation, if a comment or a representation is taken the wrong way, you are just held up and hung to dry, and that's always a risk that we're running, and we don't mean to hurt, harm, or offend, but that's a real serious thing. So it has been a delicate. We've managed it so far, touch wood, and I hope in the future it's like that. But it's scary, Jonathan.
So, Mark, what do you say to other agents out there that aren't in the Northern Beaches, who are too scared, who are worried about that fear of trusting their staff enough not to stuff it up? What's your message to them?
I think you've got to. I think when you've got good intentions, you sort of can't go too wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think on balance, on 99.9% of people, I think, you know, when they have their hand on their heart and they talk on social media, it's pretty hard to put a stake through the heart. But that's sort of not the problem. It's when that statement's taken in isolation and then ripped apart. Sometimes I think it's not quite managed as well as it can. So sometimes people stand behind their sword, or sometimes people fall on their sword. And I think how you respond post, if someone's offended, a good old-fashioned "I'm sorry and I'll take it down" is you may be really proud about what you did, but sometimes I've got to fall on my sword as well. I offended a family member on something I posted, which was very dear to my heart. I was offended that they were offended, but it was like I sort of had to fall on my sword a little bit and just take the post down on it. So I think you just got to be just really sensitive, in short.
I think Jonathan's your biggest risk here, isn't he? Like he's just waiting to say something.
Always be careful of the quietest person in the room. Always be careful of the quietest person in the room. But I think, you know, look, and also just to reiterate on that, these are our opinions. These are our opinions. And, you know, we keep them as diplomatic as we possibly can. But they're also our opinions. I mean, we had a scenario a few months ago, a flyer that we had distributed for 20 years landed up in the letterbox on a week when rents were all over the news. Escalating rents and low vacancy rates were all over the news. And we were asking landlords, would you like to know the new value of your rental property? Now, this is a DL flyer that's had been going up for 20 years. Our social media account, someone screenshot it blew up, and then it made its way to the media. And so we just addressed the situation on social media and said, guys, understand that there's, you know, two sides to this situation here. Understand that this is something that we've been doing for 20 years, and it's a very, very delicate topic at the moment. We're not saying anyone's right or wrong. We're just saying that, you know, sometimes you're better off just to address the situation as well. Yes, Mark. Mark's got his hand.
Hey, Jonathan, you're gonna love this, Jonathan. Do you know how we spoke to a very influential person in law, and do you know what their answer on when the media was contacting us was?
No, what was their response?
This is groundbreaking for what when we were talking episode 1000. They said, control the narrative on your social media. So when Channel 7, 9, 10, Sky News, whoever it is contacting you, asks for comment, send them to your social media and tell them you will address the comment on your social media with your audience, with your narrative. And I went, wow, that's different to how business was ever done before.
Yeah, well, the media's losing its power as people like you start turning into production companies, right? So, yeah, this isn't an easy task. You walk into your office, you've got cameras set up, you're like a TV studio. And when you do that, you get to control your own narrative. And, yeah, I think if I was to have an opinion, I think you control the safety of what you broadcast right from the start of your hiring policy. I think you've just got an incredible team that's built on respect. They respect the opportunity that's there, and they respect the business, so they're not going to go out and do the flexy, typical real estatey thing of I'm the best agent, getting the best price in the world, and that's sort of what led that young guy into trouble. I think is that he was sort of flexing a bit, and got caught out.
Yeah. But this is just all of us. Oh, we lost Billy. This is just us being us. I mean, if you met Billy or you met Illy or you met Michael or Sienna or Xanth or Kim or Jono, I mean anyone, these people are exactly these people. Like, this is everyone just inexcusably being themselves. It's not like, the camera's on. We've got to be something different now. Jonathan, we've met many a time. It's just us being us. And, like it or don't like it. I mean, I've had someone ask me a question the other day in an interview, like, what do you do, when people say nasty things about you on social media? And I said, well, it doesn't actually happen as often as you would think. But even if they did, they can just, it's not what their opinion of me is none of my business. They can just unfollow if they don't love the content. So,
what's some of the worst trash talk that anyone in this group has copped over 1,000 episodes? Because I don't think too many trolls are up at 7:45 in the morning. But there must be something.
Only at night.
They sleep in.
I haven't copped any trash talk. I've never actually rewatched any one of my episodes, though. I'm too afraid to go back and see how I present myself to the camera, listen to my voice. I'm sure it's very nasally to everybody else. So I'm not sure if everyone else is in the same boat, but I've never rewatched an episode.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So you don't watch it back? No one?
No.
Never.
It's live for a good reason.
God, no. God, no.
Wow.
I reckon that's the worst thing you can do. Let's liken it to this. You've taken a selfie, right, with a friend, and what does everyone do? Show me the photo. Oh, no, don't like that one. No, take another one. Yeah. That's what everyone does, right? Because we are so critical of ourselves. So the best thing that you guys can do is just do it and don't watch it back.
Forget about it.
It's not about you, right? This is about the people and giving the message out to the people. It's not a beauty pageant. This is just, as I said, you just got to be inexcusably yourself. And if people if they don't like that, that's an issue with them, not with you.
Now, there is a group.
Hey, Jonathan.
Very, very good point. Yes, Mark.
I just have to say about the distribution of this show, probably what I often forget and people don't really know, it actually goes on simultaneously. It goes on YouTube, Novak Facebook, the two hosts Facebook, the two hosts personal Facebook. It goes on LinkedIn Live. This is all simultaneous. It then afterwards goes on to the Instagrams of Novak and the people that are there. So it goes out to about 12 different streams. Beyond that, it then goes out to an audience of 90,000 by email, where we pick our clips and we send the clips out by email. And beyond that, it then goes on. It then gets watched all day, not on a live basis. So it's millions and millions and millions and millions of views that are compounded upon each other, which has created content for people that are in need. And then, LinkedIn and all those people serve up that content on demand when people are looking for that sort of stuff. So we never really got that at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. We definitely learned a lot along the way. But I just want to add there, if you have a look at all the squares here, Sienna's sitting in her car. Illy, I think, is at home. Michael's come from the gym. Billy's sitting on his couch. Anthony and Kim are sitting in a conference room. Jono is, I'm not sure, I think maybe at home. Everyone is just there with their iPhone. There's not $10,000 of technology, right? Mark's sitting in his car. There's not $10,000 $10,000 of technology that went into this. We literally joined a link and went live on a mobile phone.
Yeah, and I think that's the key point too about the lesson from today, right? Is that I'm in my studio, I've got big cameras and lights, and they didn't work. The thing that saved me was the phone. So it's like I'm going to grab all that gear, chuck it in the bin, and just rely on my phone from now on. And you can be anywhere, anytime. I think that's fantastic. But there is one question before we wrap it up that I want to ask.
Yeah.
Because there is a tradition in sitcom television that when you get popular and you reach about 1,000 episodes, the stars of the show then get breakout shows. So I want to know the breakout shows for each and every one of these people, Mark. So, I want to know what Billy's going to do. I want to know what Michael's going to do. Can't wait to see what Sienna does and Illy does. And Jonathan, now, Jonathan, just a tip that if you're going to have your own show and you're going to put it onto a podcast, you actually have to say something for it to be valuable, okay? You can't just sit there. You can sit there and not on video, but you need to talk. So tell us.
Jono, every day we have it. So Jono's part of my team, as is Zan and Michael, and we have a meeting every morning. And every morning I'll be like, "Is Jono on the phone?
Is Jono there?" we actually went out for a cheeky little drink last week, and we were talking about me stepping into the real estate industry and trying to figure out my point of difference. And it's so funny that you talk about what's next in a spin-off show, because I stupidly said, "Oh, I'll do a Novak naked news."
Mark, you did, when Mark did mention all the platforms this show was going to, OnlyFans was still available, so very possible.
There we go.
Oh my God,
that's naked news.
There is an untapped audience.
Novak. Yeah, it'd be hard to get people on that show.
There's a market for everyone, Mark. There's a market for everybody. You know that.
I love that.
Look, I think this has been awesome. I think you guys need to really celebrate today, celebrate what you've achieved. I'm honoured just to be here. It was as Mark does, a message at 10:30, 11 o'clock last night, and I was like, no, not the 1,000th episode. I'll come on 1,001. He's like, no, I need you on here tomorrow. So I'm honoured. So thank you. I think you're doing an incredible service, not just for the people of the Northern Beaches, Manly, and all those areas, but for the real estate industry as a whole. You're actually leading the way and telling people how to run businesses and do better at business. Your own cohort of real estate agents who at the moment probably are struggling a little bit, that things have got a bit sluggish. If things are a bit sluggish and you're not doing content like this, then you're not maximizing your market. And I think it's a testament to you, Mark and Lisa, that you've got your whole team bought into this. I go into offices and maybe the owner wants to do it because it's his brand, but none of the salespeople or the property managers behind him are really that keen. The fact that you can sit here today with 6 to 8 of your staff and team members all happy to contribute is just incredible. It's testament to you guys as the team, and it's also a testament to you guys as the owners. And be really proud of what you've achieved with 1,000 episodes, and I can't wait for the next 1,000. Plus all the breakouts. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. We really appreciate it. And it's been awesome just, working with you over the years as well. You are absolutely phenomenal. I think one of your clients actually tuned in, Lisa Kramer. You're an absolute legend. If anyone does need any help with any of this sort of content, Jonathan Creek is definitely your guy. We'll pop a link in to your company afterwards. Could Michael do the weather?
Michael, people have spoken. We all want to see you naked too.
Well, it's a beautiful sunny day today.
Nicole, he just got married. Everyone's calling him Chris Hemsworth.
Michael. I hope you got your mobile number in your profile, Michael, because this could be a good day for you.
Yeah. Well, he just got married last weekend, so that ship has sailed.
Nicole, you're welcome to join me on my Naked Morning News or Naked Novak News whenever you like.
Oh, I know Mark just left. He must have gotten offended that he wasn't.
The buffering circle.
Hysterical.
Well, I think
Oh.
with that, Lisa, if you've got anything to add, you're the queen of this. Yeah.
I think I've said a lot. But look, it's been quite the journey, and I think the important thing here, Jonathan, just to wrap it up, is the commitment that goes into this, the consistency that goes into it. Honestly, I can tell you, there are days when you're like, oh, but you just do it. You just get up and you just do it, and we turn up consistently every day. We're going to come out onto your social media. So, congratulations to everybody, because this is without a doubt a team effort. Look at these guys.
Yeah.
Look at, and these are just a handful. There's another 40 people that are in the office. This is without a doubt a team effort. So well done to everybody. Seriously, really well done. And no one wanted to do this to begin with. Not Michael, not Billy, not Xanthony, not Kim, not Illy, not Sienna, none of them, not Jono. Amazing.
Yeah. Mark, can I ask one favour for today? Mark, can I ask one favour for today?
Yeah.
All right.
The
one favour for today.
Yeah. What is it? What's the favour?
I want Jonathan to sign off the show.
Yeah, roll the outro.
All this pressure, Jonathan. There's pressure there.
All on me. All right. Well, wrapping up the 1000th episode. Thanks for coming in and interviewing all of us today. Thanks to the team for being here. I hope everybody has a great day.
Play the music, Mark. We're out of here.
See you guys.
Live show.